I'm Martin Dorey and you are watching Adorama TV. Now today I'm going to be looking at the new time-lapse video feature on GoPro's top-of-the-range HERO4 Black Edition camera.
Adorama TV presents Capture the Action with Martin Dorey.
If you've used time-lapse before on a GoPro, say on a HERO3 Plus, then you'll know that the time-lapse feature allows you to take a series of images at set intervals, which you can then stitch together to make a time-lapse sequence. Very simple. Now, the HERO3 Plus and previous versions took still images, JPEGs, and then you had to go and put them into GoPro Studio or another bit of editing software and stitch them all together to make your sequence. Things have changed, things have moved on. The HERO4 now takes a series of video stills and stitches them together in camera to make an MP4. What this feature means is that you can check your footage directly from your camera on your app, for example. Before, you had to get back to the studio to check whether or not your time-lapse sequence had worked, so it's a bit hit and miss, to be honest. But now, bearing in mind that this makes an MP4, you can view it directly, you can check you've got it right before you pack up your gear and move on, and that is extremely useful. Okay, and as if by magic, because it surely is, what we've done is we set up this camera in the corner of the studio just to get a time-lapse shot of us setting up, and we can view it straight away on the GoPro app. And there it is. Time-lapse video mode shoots in either the super duper crispness of 4K at 16:9 aspect ratio or 2.7K at a 4:3 aspect ratio. Don't ask me why it does, but it does. You can also choose your shooting intervals with a choice ranging from 1 frame every half a second up to 1 frame every 60 seconds. Now, getting this right is the key to good time-lapse sequences because the number of frames per second that you shoot will determine the length of your finished time-lapse sequence. And this is where we get to the sciencey bit. When you play back your time-lapse footage, it will play it back at 30 frames per second in NTSC. So what that means is that if you shoot at a rate of 1 frame per second, it will take 30 seconds for you to shoot 1 second of action playing back at 30 frames per second. So if you shoot 30 frames of action, which is 30 seconds, it will take 1 second to play back. Make sense? If the action you want to capture, for example, the sun going down, is going to take longer than a few minutes, say half an hour or so, then you need to work out what interval you need to shoot at to make that sequence happen in the right amount of time. So you have to choose what screen time you need. At 1 frame every half a second, half an hour of shooting time is going to give you 3,600 frames. Now, when you divide that by 30, that is going to give you 120 seconds of action. Now that's 2 minutes. Okay, now that's actually quite a lot of screen time. 2 minutes, and you don't want to bore your audience. So how about we do something like, okay, 1 frame every 10 seconds. Now in half an hour, that's going to give you 180 frames, which translates to 6 seconds of screen time. Now that's actually quite a nice, sweet and short sequence. What about something that moves really slowly, like say the tide? Well, you're going to need to know how long it's going to take from start to finish. Now, in the case of the tide, it's going to be 6 hours from low tide to high tide, approximately. What you're going to need to do is to work out how long you want your finished sequence of film to be, and from that, you can work out your frame rate. How about we want our sequence to be 30 seconds? Now, if we're playing back at 30 frames per second, we're going to need around about 900 frames to fill that 30 seconds. And over a 6-hour period, if we shoot at 1 frame every 30 seconds, that's going to give us round about 720 frames which is about 24 seconds. So that's quite a good frame rate to try. If you're going to leave your GoPro camera shooting time-lapse video for 6 hours, you are going to hit some problems. And the first one is power. Now, GoPro say that shooting time-lapse video will use up around about the same amount of power as shooting normal video. And GoPro provide a chart of this. But what this means is that when you shoot at 4K, it's going to take around about 50 to 55 minutes to run your battery down from full, and with a battery pack that's going to be only around about 2 hours. And one way of getting around this is to use an external power source, which you can do. You might want to use a USB charger on your laptop or even a USB charger in your car, if of course you can get your car to the place where you're shooting. The other issue you're going to come up against when you're shooting time-lapse sequences is making sure your camera is fully locked off, especially when you're shooting sunsets or tides or landscapes, because you don't want everything moving in camera. So you're going to need to put it on a tripod or with a clamp and make sure it doesn't get knocked or fall over, because if it does, it'll completely ruin your shot. So there you go, straight out of the camera, straight onto my phone. Looks pretty amazing. And of course, if I didn't get it right, I'm not going to get another sunset, but if it was something else, I could at least have another go. I'm quite pleased with that. That's it for now, but thanks for joining me on Adorama TV today. Don't forget, you can go to the Adorama Learning Centre for more great hints and tips. And also, please subscribe to Adorama TV for more great videos. Finally, please don't forget to like, comment or share. And if there's anything you want to know, just get in touch.
Do you want great looking prints at low cost? Be sure to visit our easy-to-use online printing service. Adorama Pix has professionals who treat your images with the utmost care that you can count on. For a quick turnaround on photos, cards, or albums, use AdoramaPix.com.